Hi guys, so today's Thursday. It's about 4:40 p.m. It's March 12th, and I'm just doing I guess it's a summary of things I've seen and an announcement. Okay, just about this whole coronavirus situation. Okay, so here's the thing. Okay, so first I'm going to talk about coronavirus. As you know, you probably know this already, of course, to wash your hands and keep distance. Okay, from if you're in social situations, the most difficult, the thing is that if people sneeze and so forth, that is the most dangerous thing. It's like if you're in close contact with them, I think like about 3 feet. Okay, so you know what I mean. So if you're like I said, a public place like that, it doesn't mean that everybody has it. It doesn't mean anything. It's just generally speaking like the most extreme situation. Okay, so and then I don't know if you subscribe to my newsletter, but I wrote this piece and I'm going to link to the pinned comment about another thing that you could do that I saw. Okay, and then I went to look into it and it looks legit, is doing salt inhalation. Okay, so you can look it up online. It's basically you can have like this inhalation with hot water, a tiny bit of salt, but I'm not a specialist in this. You could just look up salt inhalation. Okay, and you'll find information. The reason for that is I had been seeing repeatedly that I started with the question, why do children not get this? And the answer was something about the growth hormone and how the growth hormone, and by children I mean up to puberty. That's what I was told. It's like puberty is that so up to puberty their lungs are coated with something that prevents the virus from attaching to the walls of the lung. Okay, so this is important because what happens is not that children are not exposed to it, they don't get the virus, but they don't develop the symptoms. And why is it? It's because the virus needs to attach itself to the wall of the lung, from what I understood, in order to grow. And because children have this, they are more protected. It doesn't mean, like I said, they don't get it. It means that they may not develop the symptoms. Okay, so that's part one. However, I just wanted to remind you also that children can be carriers. Okay, so they could potentially infect their parents even if they don't have any symptoms. Okay, so that's part one. Don't I don't want you guys to be scared, but it's just this is scientific information. Okay, so even though it was like vision, but what I mean is that I was talking about how the contagion of children. I would urge you guys to look up scientific information and not like the rumors about who's responsible or whatever. That's irrelevant and that doesn't help. What helps is factual, concrete information. Okay, so that's part one. Okay, and okay, so that's that, and then I'm going to talk about the what the data suggests about risk groups. So of course, if you're older than 60, you're considered to be in the risk group. But as KB, somebody in my private group, said, and I had noticed too, that the stories that I saw in the media of interviews with people who have it, they were all men. And it's like, well, how interesting. At first they think, okay, why is it because men are believed more, or what is it? So then I looked into the data from China, and it was really interesting because it says although men can catch, they caught it a little bit more than women, and it could be because of the social patterns of men. But the difference was that in terms of fatality rates, women died 1.7% of cases, but men died in 2.8%. So almost twice more likely than women of fatality. Okay, and this is in China. Okay, so it's like obviously that we don't have the data sets are incomplete. We don't have a lot of information, but that's what it's suggesting. Okay, so that's that. Now, I was also talking about the situation in Italy. It's very serious. Okay, and what is happening in Italy, I'm not saying it's going to happen here, is that they don't have enough hospital beds because when people get really serious symptoms, they need respirators and they don't have enough of them for all the people. Okay, so this is why I suggested to think about the salt inhalation, just because, guys, you need something to, just as you clean your hand, if something enters into your lungs, you want to make sure that you're read the thing that I wrote, but it's just that the lung environment, so to speak, is not friendly to the reproduction of, like I said, it doesn't mean that you won't catch it, doesn't mean that you won't develop symptoms, but it means that you need to almost like help yourself, not, if you are exposed to it, that it doesn't get to the point where you need a respirator. That's what I'm saying, because in that case it's going to be harder. And the other thing that we are experiencing in the US right now, okay, this is a fact, there are not enough tests. Like they just don't have ways to test people very widely, so we don't really know how many people have it. So obviously it's going to take a while until we have enough ways of testing, okay? And that's why I think preventing is much easier than remediating, okay? Because like I said, if you get to the point where you have to need a respirator, that's serious. Okay, so okay, so that's that. Now that's part one. Okay, so you understand that. So anyway, so now let's go back to the risk groups. Like I was saying, elderly, usually, men, like I said, they have higher fatality rates. Okay, so this is an issue. Okay. And the other thing I want to talk about is pregnant women. So fortunately, also pregnant women, although normally they are at risk for other things, it doesn't, even the ones that have it, it doesn't develop into something more serious. The same with children, and even the babies. I think one case that the baby was tested positive, but didn't develop the bad, you know what I mean? So and a lot of the other babies, I guess they were negative. So you know what I'm saying? So the situation really is more serious, like I said, for elderly people. And I was talking to somebody this morning, somebody that I talk to every week about, I have this health readings with her. But basically, I was talking to her, and the information I got was to make sure that our planning, and this is not something we're thinking about, that our planning centers around the most vulnerable, in the sense that it's not that you and I are not going to get it, but for example, nursing homes, you know what I mean? Places like that, or truly the elderly, they have to be the backbone. Like we have to think of how to isolate them and to, deliver meals to them. I don't know exactly. So that, this is so that in case things get more serious, they are protected, because they truly are the more vulnerable. And what I understand here is that, although the situation is serious, not everyone who gets the symptoms like dies, or or gets like super serious symptoms, but that the elderly and men, like I was saying, guys, the news that I've seen, even though they say, oh, it's the elderly, there's a lot of men who get it. And they're theorizing that because men sometimes have more heart disease, or they're smokers also, it's bad, okay, for smokers. So this is it, okay? So in any way, so I just wanted to tell you the factual information, and to plan not to, because this is the thing, guys, that I think is the most dangerous, is that I don't think you want to wait. What if if you have something, right? Like I was saying, wash your hands, do some sort of like a inhalation or something to cleanse your mucus, because I believe that's where the virus grows, is like kind of like on the mucus itself and the line, you know what I mean? The that's what I saw, that it grows. So you want to make sure that it's cleansed, so that even if you were to catch something, you slow down the growth. Because I was reading, the guy was like, I was having a hard time breathing. That's not, that means you need a respirator, and that's too complicated, okay? You know what I mean? You don't want to be in that situation, okay? So like I was saying, preventing is always better, okay? So then the other thing is, okay, so that's the story. And then if you want information, guys, like I said, contact your local government. That is because as you know, we saw from Trump yesterday, we're on our own, okay? We don't have a president, okay? That's just a fact. Do not listen to what he is totally useless, okay? It's like he's lying, so whatever he says, don't listen to it, okay? That's just a fact. So the local government will have more information for you, because everything is super local, okay? So and I'm going to do, I'm going to do like little updates about specific states, and I'll post to my own website, okay? But it's not going to be now. It's just this is just a general update, okay? So so the other thing I just wanted to say that came up that I thought was interesting is just for restaurants. If you know somebody who works at a restaurant or owns a restaurant, one thing that restaurants kind of need to adapt in order to survive is to try to think of ways to offer meal deliveries, okay? Even if it's like, obviously it's going to be cheaper than, than what you used to make and stuff like that, at least it's a way to not, like, you just have to adapt that way, because people are probably not going to go eat okay, in the next, I don't know when, until we figure out what's going on. Really? Okay. Okay. So that's a way, like I said, meal deliveries for your community. If you're a local restaurant, think about ways to creating, different menus, like, different meals or deliveries at specific times of the day, those types of things. Okay. Because I think I see a business opportunity. Yeah. Even though, this is like, it's not that I want people to think of business opportunities, but that's a fact, because I worry, guys. I live near, a very famous pizza restaurant in New York called Joe's Pizza. And I went late last night. I went to have it. I went for a slice of pizza, or whatever, more than one, more than one. And so usually it's always crowded. There's always a line. So yesterday, guys, there were more workers there than there were clients. I had never seen it so empty, never. Especially at the time that I went, like 10 o'clock. I was like, wow, shocking. So then it makes me think of all the small businesses that are going to suffer. So that's what I was thinking. Okay. So then let's go to the thing about Trump. Okay. So several possibilities here. Okay. And before I get started with Trump, I want to say, guys, I know we all want him to leave. Okay. He's doing a terrible job. If he leaves, the sooner the better. However, right now we want to focus on your day-to-day life. And that's what you have to think about, because we can't transfer the anxiety onto him. Like it's his fault that all the stock market crashed, and all those things. But I feel like let's think of like the people, that your loved ones, your community. That's the most important thing. Do I think it's possible that he could leave? Yes. Do I think it's possible that somebody he is close to could be contaminated? Yes. Do I think there could be fatalities in the White House? Yes. Okay. But it's not something that we want to, it's because, guys, even if he goes, it doesn't mean this whole thing is going to go down. It's going to end. But, it would improve if it's not around, because it's useless. Okay. He can't do anything. So the thing that I saw about Trump, this is the thing. I want to talk about two things. One thing is that I have always been seeing the stuff about money coming out, money coming out. And the one thing that and I always thought that it was before the March 31st, which is the day when the Supreme Court is supposed to hear the arguments, okay, about his cases. The one thing that I thought was super interesting is that this whole thing of the stock market, I wonder if this could compound with the thing on the March 31st that could cause him to leave. Okay, so that's a possibility. Okay, the other thing I did see a hazmat suit, people like cleaning up the washing off the White House, because I think it could be contaminated. Okay, honestly, and I think Mike Pence could be contaminated as well. Okay, he should not get tested, but also, like, honestly, I just feel like it's dangerous for him. Not that not that I wish badly, but especially because I don't know if you saw in the news. Okay, there's the Brazilian president who's a horrible person, who's sort of like a Trump. Okay, his press secretary had come to the U.S. Okay, and as of Saturday, there was a photo of him. He took a selfie, not a selfie, a photo that posted on Instagram with Trump right next to him, and so yesterday I had seen, I think it was a Brazilian journalist saying that this guy was tested because so the news I saw was yesterday, Wednesday. He was in the US with Trump, Mar-a-Lago on Saturday. So think about it. He had it when he met with Trump. I'm sure he must have had it. So it's possible, that these people have to all be, guys, Mar-a-Lago, the whole thing, they have to be tested, these people, all of them, because they were like in contact with a guy who tested positive. Okay, so that's why I think it's possible, okay, that there's contamination. And since they're living in like this alternative reality, they almost like, no, they want to tell themselves, no, I don't believe it, it's Democrat, yeah, I don't believe it, no. So they're more even more at risk. Okay, so that's the possibility. Okay, and so am I sure that Trump is going to leave? No, I'm not. Nothing is for sure. It's possible. It's very possible, because we don't really have a real president. There's no leadership. You could see that. Okay, and so if I was myself, what did I do? I projected light onto the White House to help him get out. Just go. But then, guys, I did cards quickly just now, and what it showed is that he's desperate. He doesn't want to leave because of his financial problems. Has to go. If he leaves, he has to deal with all the legal issues, and that's the guy. So in other words, he could try. This is what I was saying. He could try to stay. He's very so compromised that he's going to do anything to try to stay, and that's the thing. But I think, just double check, I think there's going to be other people in command, okay, like a Nancy. And like I said, military, like the National Guard, they have to have a nationwide initiative to take care of things. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So this is it. But in other words, I just feel like right now, guys, really, I'm not even concerned about, Trump leaving, when exactly or how. I just feel like, just to give you this information about, about this whole like, how to, not just how to prevent it, but also if just kind of like your lung health and stuff like that, and to isolate people. And if you know someone, like for example, an elderly person who doesn't have necessarily family close to them and they can't travel, try to offer them help, or try to help with delivering meals to them, something, okay? Because we're going to have to take care of the people who can't take their care of themselves. Okay, this is fact. So but this is okay, you know what I mean, like, so this is a time to for us to work in our communities, to help everybody that we can, okay, with food. Okay, really, like, I think, okay, and making sure that they're not exposed, the most that we can, the best that we can, especially those of us who are not in the among the group of people who are at risk. Okay, so like I said, do I think, okay, it's hard to say, guys, how this is gonna, I think we're gonna I think the issue is much more in terms of organization than it is the disease itself, that hundreds and thousands of people are gonna die or something. Don't think about it. It's not too, let's not get too tragic, let's not, I don't want us to think like that. But like I said, if we will only know that the disease is gone when we test 300 million people, nothing, or no big deal. And I was reading an article on the New York Times that said in New York, there's like one lab can only do 60 tests a day. That's nothing. So we may not know. I don't know. God knows how long we're gonna, So it's just something to think about. This is the reality we're dealing with, and I want you to be aware of it. Okay. Okay. So like I said, since there's no way of knowing it, whether you have it, and B, whether, like, you know what I mean. How to prevent and how to practice good health for your lungs, and protect this other guys. And I'm like, oh my god, I have a cold. I was like, because I had a little cold earlier. I was like, oh, Rosie, huh? So I ordered the inhaler, salt inhaler, because, but guys, all I did was go to the pizza shop. But I was like, oh my god, a lot of people go to pizza shop. I was thinking about it. I was like, oh, but I would not be talking like this if I were sick. I'm sure. Okay, am I sick? No. No, I don't think I'm gonna get sick. No, no. It's just, you know how it is. Mm-hmm. So, so anyway, so that's the starting, guys. Okay, so I'm going. Okay. So all right. So, okay. So see you later. All right. Okay. Oh, and the other thing I wanted to say, guys, just before I forget, is that I got this, the card, judgment. I keep seeing the image of the judgment card, which is almost like, guys, I do think there's a degree of divine intervention, in the sense of, like, we're being shown the truth about where we stand as far as how we treat each other and treat communities. And that the Republicans, I saw, they were like freaking out, like, oh, my job is not to deal with, like, people. I don't deal with people. I mean, they're furious. They're like, wait, what? I have to prove what? And they're just gonna be, like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, they just go to fall to the wayside because they don't understand the concept of community. They don't care about people. They don't care about human. Oh, let's give money for the caparejos. But it's not. This is the problem, guys. Is the little people who have data, like weekly, who need the weekly paycheck. And that's the thing, that it's eventually going to be worked out. But I do think it's going to be GOP people's, like, not with this government yet. So that's why I hope, and I kind of feel like there's a possibility that Trump leaves, especially because this is ironic, the business community is going to go against him. Okay, because you see what is happening to the stock market. In a way, it's a good thing, because what you're seeing is that the stock market does not believe anything he says. There's zero confidence in the market about him. So eventually it's going to affect the donor class. And when it affects the donor class, oh my God, what? Then something, something immediate is going to be done. So, you know what I'm saying? Okay. Okay. So that's it, guys. I don't want to make it too long. It's just a quick summary. Okay. All right. See you later.